Do you ever think about why anyone would murder another person? Like, what would have to come over them to do that? The risk of being socially ostracized, going to jail is so high. I promise you this is all to do with productivity. Normally it's because somebody needs money, or somebody's getting revenge for their friend that was killed, or not going to war meant that you weren't going to be respected by society. Even when the cost of doing something is high, people still do it, but you can't bring yourself to be productive. If you've ever found yourself setting a Pomodoro timer, eating lollies, chewing gum to get yourself to study, I got news for you, buddy. That shit ain't gonna work. Chewing gum is not gonna make you a study weapon. It's gonna help you get stuff done. It's all cope that's been packaged into something that's easily accessible. I'm gonna say something that most people disagree with. When it comes to being productive, when it comes to doing what you actually want to do, motivation beats discipline. If you feel like you're forcing yourself to do something, you will never get it done. And that's why the situation that you're in is important. That's why we do what we do. And this brings me to meta productivity theory. The idea that when people know that they should become productive, when people know that they should start studying, instead of actually studying, they learn all the methods to study, all the things that they should do, the best Pomodoro ratio, the best routine to get yourself in the zone, get yourself locked in. And you become an expert on that rather than the thing that you were actually trying to do. Because most people think if they don't figure out how to study, then they're cooked. And they are, most of them are. The only way to do what you actually want to do is through personal risk. You got to think about what matters to you and risk that. My apartment is a perfect example. 95% of the time, the joint is messy. It's got stuff everywhere, and it only really gets cleaned when either I can't put up with the mess anymore, or I've got people coming over. My reputation is on the line. I don't want people to think that I'm a disgusting animal that lives in a pigsty, even though I am. So I clean the place. My reputation and status in the group is on the line. I'm risking something. When I was in university, I met these people that were just machines, like on a whole nother level. These guys could just study for hours and hours and hours all day. And I used to think that there was something wrong with my brain. I didn't know why I couldn't push myself to become like them, to just get through it. The truth is, all the things that we do should feel right. If there's nothing on the line, you're not gonna do it. Personal pride is never enough to complete any project. My second last year of university, I ended up getting an internship, and it was purely through networking. I had no technical skills that warranted me working there. I was gonna be doing web development using JavaScript and TypeScript, and at the time I had no experience using the language. In fact, I had barely written code that year. Most of my classes were cybersecurity. On my first day on the job, it was clear that I knew nothing. All the other interns were way better than me. They'd all had some kind of experience, some exposure to what we would be doing. And frankly, it was embarrassing. I had to walk up to senior engineers all the time, and everyone in the office would see me sitting with them, wasting their time to help me with a lot of stuff that to the rest of the developers was trivial. We would have team meetings, and I would often not even know what was going on. And I didn't feel good about it. During that period, I would wake up in the morning, and from 8:30 to 5 p.m., I would be locked in. I don't think I've ever been that locked in my life, learning as much as I could. And I didn't need a bulletproof morning routine or a Pomodoro timer or gum or any of that stuff. I didn't know if I could handle walking into one more meeting where I look like an idiot. Best believe after that internship finished, I was back to normal, procrastinating, trying to force myself to do tasks. But it was only because I was put in a position where I was at risk of losing reputation and social status that I was that locked in. But you kind of keep those skills. You don't lose them. If you ask me about TypeScript, JavaScript now, I have an okay understanding of what's going on, and it's been over a year. Personal pride is rarely enough. You must be exposed to consequences. I had to think about what mattered to me to get to a point where I could lock in and do what I needed to do. If it doesn't feel right, you won't do it. And if there's nothing on the line, it will never feel right.